Good afternoon, everybody. It's Garrett Griffith here again with the Kentucky Career Center for another session of Career Coaching Live. And this is the session where we talk about all the resources that are available for job seekers and they're looking for jobs. And today we're joined by none other than Mr. Jad Davis, and he is with the Jobs for Veterans State Grant at the Kentucky Career Center. And thought this would be a good time, just celebrated Independence Day, to bring in Jad and talk about the things that are available for our veterans and all of the services that are available for our veterans, priority service, those types of things. So we're going to give everybody just a couple minutes to join here. If we're having issues with audio or anything like that, make sure you let us know in the chat. Be sure to get your questions, and if you have questions, we'll answer those at the end. But hopefully here very soon. We'll get started with just about another minute, and then we'll get started with Jad. So, Jad, thanks for joining me today.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So, Mindy, thanks for watching. So, we'll give it here about another 30 seconds, Jad, and then we'll get started.
Okay.
And if you're wondering why we're so dressed up today, Jad and I like to dress up for events, and Jad is the resident, I guess, fashionista or fashion design that we go to. So Jad gives me all my tips to dress up and looked after. So I couldn't be outdone, so I threw on a shirt and a tie because I knew that Jad would come dressed sharply today. So
yes, since being stuck at home, it's nice to put a suit on again. It's been
It is. It's nice to dress up. Yeah. So, all right. Well, Jad, we're going to get started, guys. We're going to get started. If you have any questions, be sure to let us know. We're going to run through some questions with Jad kind of about the program, and then we'll open it up to Q&A at the end. So be sure to get your questions in if you feel like we didn't get something for you. So, Jad, why don't you go ahead and take a moment, introduce yourself to us.
Well, Jad Davis, retired from the Army, retired as a Sergeant First Class, disabled veteran myself, which helps with me understanding the JVSG program a little better. I work with Rusty Martis, who is the DBOP. He deals with the veteran, I deal with the employers, and we work as a team to try to find employment for veterans who come through the program.
Okay.
Did 20 years in the Army, retired out, and then lucked into this job, thankfully.
Well, Jad, thank you for your service. We really appreciate that and appreciate the work that you're doing to help the veteran population in terms of helping find employment. So my first question for you is, what is the Jobs for Veterans State Grant?
The Jobs for Veterans State Grant is a DOL program, Department of Labor program, meant to help target veteran employment. The Department of Labor has several programs. We're familiar with the Career Center, the Youth Services Program, the Senior Services Program, and they targeted veterans as a critical need for reemployment services, employment and reemployment services. So we work with veterans. When you're in the military, the lifestyle is different than civilian. It's a known fact, but when you come out, that transition is critical. So having someone who's already done the transition, that specializes in transitions, knows how to take your military skills and translate them to a resume for civilians really helps that process. Also, you serve your country, you get stationed in the Navy in Japan or in the Army in Korea or in the Marines all over the place. Any branch, you're away from home a lot. You're trying to come back home and starting with no network to really know who's hiring in your career field or what career fields are really hiring for you to kind of target. That's why this program's there. Me and Rusty know, my job is to know who's hiring and be that liaison for the veteran to get to that interview process. Rusty works with the veteran to make sure they got the resume, any other services they need, any other wraparound services. Say you've got a VA claim, he can help you get with the right people to file that VA claim. If you're a homeless veteran, we have connections with our partners that do deal with help with lodging to help you get to where you can concentrate on employment.
Okay.
Really, that's Rusty's is get you to concentrate on employment. Once you're ready for that, I step in and work with you on who's hiring, getting you that resume in front of them, and really working on the trying to get you that leg up and get you that in person. We feel if we can get you to the interview, you can shine for yourself as a veteran.
Yeah. So it sounds kind of like almost like a two-pronged approach. Rusty, and we'll talk about Rusty here in a little bit, is kind of working with the job seeker, with the veteran, addressing any barriers that they might have, getting them ready, getting them, job search skills, getting them resume done, get them interview skills, and then you're helping kind of on the back end with businesses, identifying, what are workforce needs that you have, how can our veterans kind of help do that. So it just kind of comes at it from both ends is what it seems like. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and that's really cool that you touched on that wraparound service. Like, it's not just, hey, I'm going to help you find a job. It's, you're transitioning back into civilian life after you served your country. And let's help make that as smooth as possible and identify things there. So I think that's great that you guys are able to do that. So that kind of leads into our next question. We talked about Rusty a little bit. If someone is more interested in learning about the Jobs for Veterans State Grant or Veteran Career Services at the Kentucky Career Center, what's the best way to get information on the program?
Well, there's two quick ways. One is go to the kcc.ky.gov website and click on Veterans Express from the main tab, and it has lots of information about the program statewide. Kind of gives you some basic information of what we do, and there's also, you can contact Rusty, rusty.mardis, M-A-R-D-I-S, at ky.gov. Email is the best way right now to contact him because we're working from home. So his phone is transferred. He'll get the voicemail, but email is a much better method at this point.
Better method.
That
makes sense. Yeah. Okay. And I added, if anybody's watching with more information, I added the website that you can go to, the kcc.ky.gov, and you'll just click that veteran services. And then if you do want another way, you'll notice scrolling across the bottom of our screen is the email for Rusty, where you could contact Rusty, or you can contact his number. But again, as Jad alluded to, with services being virtual now, it's probably best just to try to email him that way. So. All right. Well, thank you for going into that for us, Jad. I know that's sometimes one of the biggest things is like, how do I find out information? How do I contact somebody? So we appreciate you doing that. So just kind of lead into it. They're interested. They reach out to Rusty, or they get on the website. Kind of what are the steps to enroll in the program? Like, does it take a long time? Like, what are the things that they need?
Basically, all you need is your DD-214.
Okay.
That's the only thing, and we don't require it up front to start the process, but we will need it if we enroll you into further programs. The enrollment process is real quick. It's a basic criteria matching questionnaire. It's usually initial enrollment takes 5-10 minutes to do the form, and then the real enrollment happens when you sit down with Rusty, and it's a conversation. It feels
okay.
Say an interview. It's really just a conversation to see what you need, what you're needing, what services are best for you, and what's your goals. Really, that's what we're here to help fulfill the veterans' goals. And it's kind of I misrepresented our program a little bit. We don't just help returning veterans. If you're a veteran at any point in your life, we're here for you. So you don't have to just be getting back from service. You can have been out. You can have served in Vietnam. That's one of our critical target groups is Vietnam veterans, 18 to 24-year-old vet. Disabled, substance abuse, rehab, or convicted. We work with, all those are in low income. Those are our target groups that the DOL says these are the special needs that require DVOP services. But even if you don't qualify for DVOP services, the leaver services are here to help you as well, to know who's hiring. And if you don't have to deal necessarily with Rusty. If you've got everything together, he'll refer you directly to me, and we'll go from there. So the process really comes down to sitting with him or me, depending on what you need. And we do a career, not I say a career map, but a plan. We get a plan together. How do we get your resume built up if need be? Do we need special skills? Are you looking at a VA claim that would satisfy your needs? Do you want to use your GI Bill? And do we need to work with you on a apprenticeship program through Gateway or some of our other partners that have apprenticeship programs? It's all based on the needs of the veteran. We're here to help facilitate that.
Yeah.
So once you get that enrollment done with Rusty, it becomes just a back and forth conversation of, okay, what have you looked at? Who are you reaching out to? It's, here's some suggestions. Rusty sends out weekly, if not multiple times a week, information about companies hiring, that we get hot jobs list,
Okay.
or special programs coming. So all those little things that help the veteran.
Yeah. And so just to reiterate, so you don't have to be returning just any veteran. It doesn't matter the age when you have your target, but any veteran can receive services. And I also think it's great, like you kind of talked about, like if there's some remaining GI Bill, looking at finding an apprenticeship or getting that certification to kind of give you a leg up in your job search. So I think that's great too. I just had a quick question, and this is just like me personally asking, like helping people that I work with. Sometimes they don't always have their DD 214. Is that something that you, Rusty, could help with, like getting that set up for them? Okay.
Yeah, we can. Rusty has done veteran services for many years now. He's got a great connection with getting the DD 214. If they were discharged in the state of Kentucky, it's a very quick process. If they were discharged elsewhere, it's a little longer. But we know the forms and we know the points of contact to help facilitate that and get their DD 214. But we also start the program even before we ever get the DD 214. We'll start the process. We take you at your word. We're not here to exclude anybody just because they don't have a piece of document. We'll work with you. And eligible spouses, there are certain criteria. If you're the spouse of a POW, KIA, or surviving vet that died of complications from a military-connected disability, we can help them as well.
Help them. Awesome. That's a broad program. I didn't realize there was that much that was done there. So I think that's so cool. So I've got another question here. Kind of what can someone expect while they're in the program? What are the support systems, kind of job placements, training? I know you mentioned wraparound services. Just kind of what would someone expect working with you or Rusty in this program?
Well, it's going to be a sit down talk with Rusty to find out what they need. And then we're going to work with those services to get you career ready. If you're a lot of veterans, I know personally, I never had a traditional interview in the Army. It was board interviews, and it was, dress right dress, perfect position of attention at seated, and yes sir, no sir, and breaking them out of that. We work with them to, if they need them, interview services or interview practice. We've got several of our partners in our program business we work with that will do that for us. We'll say we got a veteran that's interested and needs some refinement on their interview skills. They'll work with us and give them practice and give us feedback so we can help. We do the resume review and help you with your resume to create it, because there's different resumes depending on what career you want to go into. Federal work requires a different resume for a federal job working for the government than does for a state and versus some civilian employees. I talk with employers all the time, and there's a million wrong ways to write a resume, but there's no perfect right way. So we work with that. If you're anything that may be a barrier to employment, we're going to try to help you find that resource. So if it's something simple as childcare, we're going to reach out to some of our partners, some of the other veterans resource groups, and see what we can do to help. Because we know that you can't concentrate on your job if you're worried about your kids being at home alone. If you're worried about mom not being taken care of during the day while you're working, it's hard for you to get back to work. So we're going to work with you to help alleviate as many of those obstacles as possible.
And I love that you do that. So I think that bringing that wraparound service and addressing everything, it's not as simple as just getting a job sometimes. There's so many other things, and I love that you guys are there to help veterans kind of bring all that together. I think that's awesome. So,
and then once you're in the program and started the program, we're in reasonable contact, once, twice a week, follow up. Hey, what's going on? Where can we help more? Whatever whoever you contacted here, here's some suggestions, because it's all suggestions. We're here to help. We're not here to direct anybody to do anything. It's what the veteran wants. Yeah. And we try to find a nice variety of employers and nice variety of positions. because some people are looking for more entry-level factory, or they just want a part-time job. We've got, good connection with Speedway, 5G Liquors. Both are kind of that part-time, whatever shift you want. Just if you only want 15 hours a week, they're happy to have somebody they can rely on for 15 hours a week. If you're looking for more than that, we've got good connections with a lot of the factories and businesses around here, and they'll consider our veterans for supervisory and managerial roles that normally they wouldn't necessarily hire outside for. So we have that kind of connection where we can say, hey, FedEx, we've got a veteran that's a logistics officer for the Army. He'd be a good fit. Do you have a position? They may not even have a position for him at that moment, but they'll consider him and see if they got something in them that's coming up, or, it may not be advertised, may never ever advertise it, but they'll consider our veteran because that's our relationships we build with them, and they respect our veterans and know they come with skills that are not necessarily your entry-level employee skills. They're going to be, have training and leadership that you can't really get even in their own facility. They're going to have veterans, leaders are going to have leadership skills that you just don't learn anywhere else, really.
Yeah. I think that's great. And that kind of leads into the next question, just like, what are the benefits of the program? So like you said, just kind of having that connection with the company to say, to give a leg up there. That position might not ever be posted, but working with you or Rusty, you might be able to get a position that wasn't open yet.
Right.
So are there any other, is there a priority of service, or there exclusive job opportunities, like that type of thing for veterans, or?
There's no exclusive job opportunities, except kind of those little ones that they may have coming open, they'll consider. There is some benefits to hiring veterans. There's tax credits that the business can receive. Those type of things. There's some on-the-job training we can get funded through the VA for on-the-job training to get them in the door and get some skills. But the biggest help we can do is just being that liaison, knowing who's hiring, so they don't have to go out and beat the bushes trying to figure out who's hiring, who's not. It gets very disheartening when you're going places and they're saying we're not hiring. We've already done that work, and a lot of times places that people would walk in and say, "Are you hiring?" They say no. We can contact and they'll say, "Oh well, we got this guy leaving. We're looking for this type of position. The guy was experienced. Let me look at his resume." A lot of them will consider resumes even when they say they're not hiring, just because they know what skills the veterans bring.
Yeah. And I think that's great. And you kind of touched on it before, just kind of having that support and that liaison to help bridge the gap. Because looking for work is not always easy. And it can be stressful and hard sometimes. So having somebody on your team that can kind of help alleviate some of those things and just point you in the right direction or link you in there already is a great service. So is there anything else you think we should know about the program? Do you have any upcoming events that you want to share or talk about?
Well, we have the 14th annual Veterans Job Fair coming up on July 23rd. Watch the KCC website for posting on how to register. That should be coming out very shortly. It's going to be the first ever virtual career fair, so we're very excited about that. A lot of good businesses. All the businesses are hiring that we've invited to be part of this are hiring at $15 or more an hour, so it's really good opportunities. It's we've invited from a lot of different business sectors. We try to get employers from every sector that is out there that we work with. So we've got St. E and Regular Blacktop and several others. I mean, it's I want to say it's confirmed around 15 businesses. We're invited around 24. So we still got some that we're waiting on, but we're excited about that. Looking forward to doing that. And just keep an eye on the webpage, because we do a lot of stuff. We did the first resource fair back in March in preparation for the originally scheduled Veterans Fair. So we work with all those resources in the area for veterans to help all those process we talked about getting career ready. We did that in anticipation, so anybody that was having difficulties could have came to that. And when we were originally supposed to have the career fair in March, they would have been setting pretty for having a great resume and ready to go for that career fair. So we're wanting to do that again. We may look for an early fall, or depends on everything going back to normal when we can do something like that again. We're always looking for new opportunities to help vets. One thing I want to mention is we do work with Ohio Means Jobs JVSG grants as well. So we're not limited to just Northern Kentucky. We cross and we work with them, and if we got somebody interested in Ohio jobs that we don't necessarily have connections with, we can refer them to the Ohio Means Jobs people and let them help them in the Cincinnati area. We may be somewhat constrained by the barrier at the river, but the person isn't, so we want to give them every advantage that they can.
Okay.
We find a good career.
Yeah, that's a great thing. And then just kind of the best thing is just check out our Facebook page, check out kcc.ky.gov for that information, the Northern Kentucky Career Center website for that information, how to register. One of the best ways is to like or subscribe Facebook page, follow us on social media. The information will be there as well. If you have a question, get it in. We do have a question that I kind of let Jad answer. Jonathan, I got your question about email, and Rusty got an auto response about UI. So they are kind of helping with UI. So, but I'll let Jad explain that. Rusty, that's the correct email.
Yes, as part of the response to the COVID-19, the entire state's JVSG staff has been partially moved. We're working 50% JVSG, 50% unemployment insurance. Because we are fielding a lot of emails in what we're doing with unemployment, we've got the auto response on, letting people know that we're working UI and that it'll take a day or two for us sometimes to respond depending on what we've got going on. But he will get back with you. That's just an auto response that the department head of UI told us to put on our email so that people didn't think we were ignoring them.
Yeah.
when it took a little while to respond, because we've got, sometimes 100 and 150 emails a day, and working through them, you don't always get response immediately. And then we get responses all through the night. So I'll come in the morning, log in, and have 10 emails from overnight, and people wonder why they didn't get a response at 2 a.m. So that kind of helps. But make them feel at ease.
Yeah.
Hope that helps you.
Yeah. So Jonathan, he'll get back with you. That is just kind of like a generic, hey, it's pretty high right now, but they are doing both. So he'll reach out. But so if you have another question, just throw it in really quick. If it pops up, we'll get to it. If not, we'll get an answer at the end. And Jad, thank you so much again for your service, all the work that you're doing for the veteran community, and workforce development here in Northern Kentucky. We're lucky to have you and Rusty at the Kentucky Career Center with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
All right. And we'll that'll end. So if you have a question, throw it in there. We'll go through and get them answered for you. Again, to contact, email rusty.martis@ky.gov. It's scrolling across the screen, or call him. Again, you are going to kind of get that general notice that he is working with UI, but he will get back to you. Don't forget to join us on Thursday as Haley interviews another wonderful employer here and spotlights them in Northern Kentucky. And we'll be back next Tuesday. Jad, again, thank you for everything.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.